Yo, what's good, guys? Alright, so this is just a short video to talk about this Christmas period, how you deal with it, how to make it feel like a beneficial time of year from a bodybuilding standpoint, how to approach it, and how to mentally not feel like you're stalling. Typically, bodybuilders are quite OCD. I can speak from myself there and many others. Not everyone, but most. And we have a real difficulty with switching off because it's all about progress. But what I want to try and explain today is that you can progress in many ways by actually pulling back, by actually relaxing more, and by giving more time to other attributes of your life than the bodybuilding itself. Think of it like this: you've had your competitive season, and that's been push, 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 intense, intense, intense. You get to a point where your body's going to start fighting back and being a bit rejectful of progress. It's not going to want to continue improving on that rate of work. So what I would say is that the body's going to be more than welcoming to pull back on volume, perhaps even intensity. And bear in mind at this time of the year that you're probably going to be eating more than you normally would. More food available. I'm not saying stuff yourself full of shit, but there will be more calories going in, and ultimately less output, more calories should essentially lead to more weight gain. Not necessarily the best weight gain, but weight gain nonetheless. And as long as you still train a minimum a number of times a week, say 3-4 times a week, and still push yourself hard when you are in the gym, I still feel that you can make great progress, or at least maintain that of which you've earned over the course of the year. Personally, I feel I grow more on less training days, with more intensity applied to the workouts, so perhaps techniques like rest, pause, forced reps and whatnot. So just trying to make the most of those workouts that you do actually have. And then, you know, imagine this: so you train one day on, rest one day, you train one day on, rest one day. So you're training maybe 3 to 4 times a week. I don't think that's a bad thing at this time of year, honestly. I think we've all got commitments, we've all got family, we've all got friends, we've all got chores. Some of us have houses or rent, and everything's energy. So sometimes you just got to be smart and try to manage your energy a lot better. Try to distribute it between all of the things in life a lot more evenly. You know, I know that bodybuilding is very all guns blazing, but there is a time for that, and that is usually when you're approaching competition. You can always improve on your way into a competition. With it being an off season, I think you can grow substantially with less activity, because ultimately you're just trying to be in a surplus and lift heavy, but not too much of a surplus that you get fat. So training 3 to 4 days a week, heavy and intense, eating good food, it can only be beneficial for the mind, spirit, soul, whatever you want to say. I think it can only be something that actually benefits you. Yes, body composition might drop off a little bit, but none of us are planning on walking around in a vest at this time of year, so I won't worry too much about that. So, what foods to optimise this time of year? The foods are available. I think meats that are, you know, ready cooked. So these cut meats. I know people are very anti-preservative, anti-reformed. Me, I'm not so much. Reason being is that 6 of my 8 meals a day probably come from very, very good sources. So if 1 or 2 come from a source that's probably more questionable, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna lose my brain or stress, because my diet is pretty much good. And also those 2 meals that might come from processed kind of meats and stuff, they're 2 meals you might not have had if you're not in the mood for eating the food you normally eat all day. So I eat a lot of turkey rashers right now, you know, burgers. These are all things that have been formed, reformed, played around with. They're not in their rawest form. So, you know, you can say I'm not a bodybuilder because I'm not eating the best food, but in truth, it allows me to get the calories in. It allows me to enjoy my food. It allows me to be social. It allows me to take my food out with me. And those are the things you're trying to look for. You're trying to look for that balance at this time of year. Try not to fuck up this time of year, because it's very easy to, and we're selfish people as bodybuilders. So, you know, I just wanted to do that video. There's not much really to be said in it, and it's nothing educational at all. It's just trying to say, don't stress too much, eat the food, enjoy your training, communicate with your family and your friends, and have a really good Christmas. And that's it, literally. To be a champion doesn't mean you have to be 100% all the time. It means you need to know when to be 100% and when not to be. You know, Steve Avery always told me that intensity has to increase. It can't start at its highest peak. So it's the same for anything, you know. As you get towards those dates, as you get towards those shows or goals, you've got to become better and better on that journey. And you don't necessarily start on the best foot, but it's all about how you kind of evolve through that journey. So don't worry too much. Enjoy your Christmas. See you soon, and peace out.